This morning, Erin videoed Reese, and you can't hear it now, but it's like, are you going to have a good day? No. Are you happy? No. Good morning. We'll call this meeting of the Bucks County Commissioners to order for July 10th, 2024. And Kate Saul, our paralegal for governance in the Law Department, will lead us in the pledge this morning. Before we begin our presentations, I just want to make sure to welcome our Union PSSU today that's joined us, and we're glad to see all of you here today. And then we will begin with the proclamation that Commissioner Harvey will read for Park and Recreation Month and have a presentation.
Okay, thank you very much. Whereas parks and recreation are an integral part of communities throughout this country, including Bucks County. Whereas since 1985, people in the United States have been celebrating Parks and Recreation Month every July to promote the power of parks and recreation and to thank the full-time, part-time, and seasonal professionals of parks departments everywhere. And whereas Parks and Recreation promotes physical, emotional, and mental well-being, sustains natural resources, creates memorable experiences, and strengthens community identity. And whereas the Bucks County Department of Parks and Recreation oversees a 9,000-acre park system with 9 county parks and 3 nature centers and numerous recreation sites, including a dog park, horse park, golf course, public pools, an airport, and several historic sites. And whereas our Bucks County parks and natural recreation areas ensure the ecological beauty of our communities is maintained and preserved and will continue for generations to provide a place for children and adults to stay active and to connect with nature. Now, therefore, do we, the Board of Bucks County Commissioners, hereby proclaim July 2024 as Park and Recreation Month throughout the County of Bucks. In doing so, we recognize the benefits derived from parks and recreation resources and commend our Bucks County Parks and Recreation staff for providing beautiful, fun, and safe spaces. We encourage all Bucks County residents and guests to visit our parks and recreation sites that span from Lower to Upper Bucks, from Silver Lake to Lake Towey.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And Angie Nagel, if you're here, good morning.
Good morning.
And I didn't have my microphone on, so let's say that again. This is Angie Nagel, our Director of Parks and Recreation, and welcome.
Thank you. And thank you to the board for the opportunity to speak a little bit about Parks and Recreation Month and also share an update on the ongoing comprehensive plan. Today I'm joined by my wonderful team who have served the residents and visitors of Bucks County for many years, and without them, all of the work and all of the parks could not be maintained to the standard that they are. So I want to thank them personally and hope they will join me up to receive the proclamation. So thank you. So this year's theme for Parks and Recreation Month is Where You Belong. It celebrates the many ways that parks and recreation professionals across the country foster a sense of belonging in their community by providing welcoming and inclusive programs, essential services for all ages and abilities, and safe, accessible spaces to build meaningful connection. And that's really what it's about. It's not about a place, it's about the connection that happens at these special places. As the commissioner mentioned, our department manages over 9,000 acres of parks and open space, and we are the 3rd largest county-managed park system in the state of Pennsylvania. Some of the themes for this month include belonging through health and well-being. So data shows us that living close to parks and other recreation facilities is consistently related to higher physical activity levels for both adults and youth. Parks, again, provide a connection to nature and to people. Parks fosters belonging through environmental resilience. In addition to helping connect people to nature, parks create stewards, and many of the stewards that help support our park system include the invasive plant removal team at Silver Lake Nature Center, the Penn State Master Watershed Stewards, some community organizations such as Excel Events, and our partners at the Conservation District that are hosting our annual event up at Lake Towey, Paddle with a Purpose. Can come to Lake Towey, help us pull out those pesky water chestnuts, and help improve the park environment and the lake atmosphere. Parks and Recreation contributes to economic opportunity. Our department employs over 50 young adults and older adults, and for some, it's their first job, so it's a stepping stone to a possible career in Parks and Recreation. Next slide. Yeah. So I guess I moved a little quickly. Next slide. Next slide. All right, so this month, we're also celebrating significant progress with our comprehensive plan. As a reminder, this plan will help make our parks and open spaces better and increase access to those sites. The plan's focus is ensuring that all parks meet the standards that residents and users need and expect. Our project goals will follow the principles below. So sustainability and environment, accessibility, connectivity, equity and inclusion, adaptability to current and future needs, and long-term maintenance and stewards. So if you said, Angie, can you summarize our project in one slide? This is it. This is our focus for the next year and a half. This is where we are in our timeline. So we are currently in the listening and learning phase, and hoping to have this plan adopted at the end of 2025. So speaking of listening and learning, this is our call to action for all Bucks County residents, visitors, employees, community groups, athletic associations, religious groups. We really need your help, and we really need to capture your input on what you want to see in our park system. So this is the link to the survey. It'll be open through the fall. You'll also be able to take the survey in person at some community events. The one coming up soonest would be the Tinicum Arts Festival this weekend at Tinicum Park. We'll also be at volunteer events. We'll also be at the Grange Fair. So this is your opportunity to engage and participate in what you would like the park system to look like for the next 10 years and beyond. So you can follow the project at buckscounty.gov/parkplan, and there is where we'll post updates as we move along. So thank you for the opportunity, and thank you to my team again, and thank you to the commissioners.
Anybody have any questions? Go ahead, Commissioner.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a quick comment. First, Angie, I want to thank you and everybody that works in our Parks and Recs department for creating here in Bucks County what I think is the greatest Parks and Rec county system in the state of Pennsylvania. So thank you for all your hard work. And I would just like to point out that today on our consent agenda, it's item number 14C. There is an item on there for approval of a land lease at Core Creek Park for 3 of our school districts for the rowing program. I think it's a 5-year lease from this year to 2029, and I would like to thank you personally for helping put that together. And we do have a couple representatives from one of the schools that are here today to support the program, and I'd just like to announce them if they don't mind standing up. First is Mike Jacobs, who's the Director of Information Technology from Holy Ghost Prep, and also Allison Bohm, who's the rowing coach at Holy Ghost Prep that is going to be using the facility. So thanks for being here and supporting the program today. We're glad to have you.
I would add thank you that I know our parks are very crowded, so that speaks to both the work you have to do and the good work that you are doing. So we appreciate that to all of your staff.
Yeah, and especially to Ms. Nagel coming on, taking on this very, very big job, 3 years ago, I think it was. And really just, we kind of gave you, in many ways, just a big task and told you to, shoot for the stars and tell us what kind of park system we need to have. To the staff, thank you for all the work you do every day, and we really appreciate everything you do. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. And next, with the Bucks County Home Repair Program, I'm happy to introduce Jeremy with Capital Access. And I guess Mike's here from Habitat. Good morning.
Good morning. I was told we have 3 minutes, so I'll be brief, no matter how long it takes. It is an absolute honor to be with all of you and the commissioners of Bucks County. I'm here with Mike McPeak of Habitat of Bucks. I'm the owner and CEO of Capital Access Incorporated. It is an absolute honor to have been selected as the program manager for the Whole Home Repair Program. And it is truly a collaboration with the Bucks County Department of Housing and Community Development. We've been pushing the boundaries of home repair because the houses are getting older, the homeowners are getting older, and we need to make the homes more energy efficient. Do we have a slide? And there it is. Really want to recognize the leadership of the county to match the Pennsylvania Whole Home Repair funding with the American Rescue Plan funding. That means that we can now do, instead of $25,000 a house, address the habitability, the accessibility and energy efficiency needs of the homes, and it just costs more. And the leadership that you provided to do that is absolutely extraordinary. And it means with nearly $10 million, we can do 120 to 150 homes. The Whole Home Repair Program hopefully is getting approved for a second round of funding in the new state budget. We are cautiously optimistic. We have to show production. So with that, the program will benefit low and moderate income homeowners who struggle, and particularly the middle income. Sometimes middle income people miss out, or moderate income, and these programs serve exclusively low income. The beauty of this program is we have the flexibility to do that. And again, the program focuses on habitability of health and safety, accessibility, energy efficiency, and when a home is fixed up, it helps stabilize a neighborhood, and our focus is on the neighborhoods. With that, again, our profound thanks. We're moving forward. You're going to see a lot of events and activities, and as elected officials, you're probably going to get phone calls. And you can call me or my staff. We are here. We understand that home improvement is it's personal. We're building the trust so that strangers can come into people's homes and fix it up. We understand that's a sacred trust. And so we are transparent, we earn the trust, and we're accountable. And we look forward to helping the homeowners of Bucks County. Thank you.
The program will be serving the homeowners who have owned a house for a year who qualify by making a moderate income. The applications have to be current with their taxes, the utility, the homeowner insurance, so that we know they're going to be able to stay in the home after we do the repairs. It's moderate income. I can't stress this enough. A single person is $64,250. A family of four is $91,700. I very often get people making $20,000 saying they don't think they're going to qualify. We have to let people know how broad the program is. Next slide, please. The funding is in a of the two different programs. So we're going to be paying it off into two different ways. It's going to be a 50% grant, no cost to the homeowner at all, and 50% an interest-free, payment-free loan program, which means they'll get a mortgage for half the cost of the repair that they only have to pay back when they sell the house or transfer it. There'll be no expense while they're living in the house to get these health and safety repairs done. We also will be doing up to $15,000 for mobile homes. It's $50,000 for a house, $15,000 for a mobile home. There will be no lien on mobile homes out of practical purpose. Next slide, please. The repairs that we do are health, safety, and energy efficiency. We do accessible modifications, plumbing, electric, bring things to code that are living things, not yard work, but housing related. Bring everything up to code. Porch, stair, insulation, roofing, soffits, energy efficient, water heaters, windows, doors, HVACs. We also do anything that's a health and safety. We deal with lead, insects, asbestos, those type of repairs as well. Next slide. Actually, I think the one behind you, so 2 more slides. The process is pretty straightforward. Bucks County has a website. You can apply online directly from Bucks County's website, from Habitat for Humanity's website, or Capital Access's website. We'll also take paper applications. We do in-person meetings. This week we have 2 gatherings so people can come to us with the documents. A lot of our homeowners are seniors. They don't have the ability to scan documents, so we'll accessible to them. They can come to our office. We can go to their house. We want to help the people however is needed to get it done. There are open time periods. Right now we have an open period that ends on August 15th. Once that period is done, we'll have another one opening on September 1st. We're also weighing the applications for the repairs. As of now, we've been able to help everybody who's applied and finished the applications. We expect that may change. And there's a weighted system that the county came up with, children under 6, number of issues with the house, zoning violations, and a sliding scale on the income, which will weigh if we ever get to the point where we have more completed applications than dollars. Like I said, there'll be several rounds of this, and we'll be helping the South to the next one. Next slide, please. So to assist with the application program, this Thursday, tomorrow, and Saturday at Habitat's location at 539 Jacksonville Road, we'll be having an open house with 10 people there to take applications, scan documents, and if the line gets long, we'll set appointments for in-house ones in the future. I'd like to thank the Commission and the Housing and Development Authority of Bucks County. This is a huge improvement over what's been done in the past. Last year's CDBG grant was about $250,000, and we're talking about $9 million or so for the next couple of years. We will not run out of houses to fix. We're just, we're asking for your support. We're glad we got it, and we're going to ask for it again in the future. That is basically everything. I would like to, say I want to thank you all. Does anybody have any questions?
Any questions? No. Oh, wait, just a minute.
Just, excuse me. No, thank you. And I want to also just note that yesterday, was it Monday or yesterday? I forget now. Monday, we did a little seminar, webinar with staff from state rep, state senator's office, congressman's office. So they're aware of this program too. They can help field questions. They can kind of direct things to you or us. So we are trying to get the word out to people who might be looking, for just don't have the money to do these kinds of repairs. Someone who maybe is getting older now doesn't have access to the home they've lived in for 50 years, or can't access all the rooms, can't access the bathrooms, difficulty going up and down steps maybe if it's an older home, but they don't want to leave their home. So this is the kind of program that would help them. And as you said, the income requirements are not what people might think they are. This is as you said, helping people who are, in that moderate income area who may think that they don't qualify for a program like this, but they do. So I appreciate the work you're doing, Capital Access as well, and our Housing and Community Development Agency has done a ton of work as well. So looking forward to getting it rolling and getting people the help they need.
In addition to the people wanting to live in the house, their choice of moving somewhere else is not affordable. So it's really what we need to keep people in their homes. There aren't just, moving to this nice new apartment building. That's not an option. So, and hopefully we can make the houses well enough for the next generation, not a short-term fix. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We'll move to public comment. Ed Mackhouse.
Ed Mackhouse, a physicist, engineer, scientist, former teacher, 10 years. I believe that there's some good in everybody. We're all, in order to live, we have to feel that we're doing some good. But we have a balance between our own interests and the greater good. I think there's a Republican convention next week. I believe that the greater good is for President Trump and a vice president as a governor. I feel during the 4 years when he was president, we were at peace. He brought the Abraham Accords to bring peace, the Mideast, and we had prosperity. We were paying $500 billion a year on interest. Now we're spending $1 trillion a year on interest. Now we have a deficit of $3 trillion. There's money that's needed. We have a lot of people working for children and youth. They want money. Everyone needs money. But an increase in salary isn't an increase in salary if the increase is less than the increase in inflation. It costs us more, thousands of dollars more during this last 3 years because of inflation. Why is inflation? Why is our money decreasing in value? It's because under President Trump, for the first time since World War II, we had a surplus of energy. We were producing most energy in the world on natural gas. Now Russia surpassed us, and the supply and demand regulates the price of gasoline. So the gasoline price has doubled and significantly increased because of the war on energy. I'm a physicist. Dr. Clauser, physicist, says it's $1 trillion waste on this new deal with this energy stuff. For the Democrats, I recommend that Biden has at least kept us out of a nuclear war for 3 years. If he doesn't release his delegates and he's still elected as a Democratic representative, he should choose his vice president or allow the delegates to choose the vice president. I suggest Josh Shapiro would be the best vice president. People don't want to vote for Biden because they're afraid Kamala Harris would take over. Josh Shapiro is proved to be able to deal with Democrats and Republicans, and he has an interest in Pennsylvania, and I think it'd be our best interest that they have an open convention. Newsom has done a horrible job in California, but he's the other most possible person that they could have as a vice president. So I think we think all for the greater good. I tend to favor the Republicans, but I want a democracy where people from both parties can respect their candidates. Thank you.
Diane Meyer.
Good morning, Commissioners. Good morning. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. My name is Diane Meyer, and I'm a shop steward for the Pennsylvania Social Services Union, representing workers here in Bucks County. We are the workers who provide ongoing human services to the citizens of Bucks County. We work with every aspect of the needs of our citizens. Our workers ensure for the safety and protection of our citizens by providing services to children, youth, and their families, the elderly and their families, citizens dealing with mental health issues, citizens needing support in addressing developmental needs for themselves or family members, providing nutrition for the residents of Neshaminy Manor, answering 911 calls, providing IT support for all our county services to keep us running, protecting and maintaining the health of our citizens, and providing counseling to prisoners and their families dealing with our incarceration. I could go on and on to state all that we do for the county, but would use up more than my 3 minutes allots. As you can see, we have a representation of our workers across these departments present here today. This is just a representation. To be honest and perfectly honest with you, none of us want to be here today using our own personal time to bring this statement to you. But we felt it was too important to miss this opportunity. We would much rather be in the field servicing the citizens of Bucks County and doing what we love, helping. To come directly to you was too important to us. In June, Commissioners, you recognized the workers of children and youth for Child Welfare Worker Week. These declarations honestly mean a great deal to our workers because it represents the positive recognition on the part of county government and the citizens of Bucks County for the hard work and thankless job that they perform. Unfortunately, 6 days later, our negotiation team went into talks with the county representatives and were given a last, best, final offer that cannot be accepted. While we love what we do and feel great responsibility to the people of Bucks County, we also have an obligation to our families. This offer reduces our benefits and does not meet the financial needs of our workers. We do believe that there's still room for discussion and negotiation before anyone needs to take drastic steps. We've asked to return to the negotiation table and have been turned down by the county negotiation team, stating that they are not authorized by you, the commissioners, to return. So we, as a representation of the workforce, ask that you do.
Thank you very much. We appreciate your work and that all of you are here today. Thank you. You want me to say that? Before we go on with public comment, and I mean this with sincere respect, if you do want to leave, you can leave, but I don't want you to have to get up all at once when somebody's talking. But if it's okay to stay, Jeff Glauber is next.
Good morning. Jeff Glauber, Buckingham Township. I spoke at your April 17th meeting representing the group No Buckingham Warehouse. There I voiced the concerns of both Buckingham and Plumstead residents about Commissioner DiGirolamo's submitted development plans for his Buckingham land. His submitted plan is to construct a 150,000 square foot distribution center with 30 cross-dock configured truck bays for speed of distribution and 90 18-wheeler tractor-trailer trips per day in and out. Since your April 17th meeting, we have determined and revealed that the submission that Commissioner DiGirolamo and his surrogates made misleads both the township and its residents. He erroneously submitted the plan as G3 warehouse storage. His design is not warehouse storage. His distribution center plan is instead a G6 truck terminal. And per Buckingham zoning regulations, a G6 truck terminal can't be built in that location. It must be on an arterial highway. The smaller roads that completely surround his land, Stony Lane, Landisville Road, Burnt House Hill, Cold Spring Creamery are not arterial highways. This zoning distinction exists for a reason. The proposed building would have a negative impact on surrounding neighborhoods and create a significant safety risk to residents. At the last meeting, our group asked to meet with you, Gene. You rejected and instead spoke for over 8 minutes about your family's history in farming and the hand tools they used. That was an irrelevant speech. To be clear, we don't object to your putting appropriate industry onto your land. Many medical centers, office parks have been constructed in recent years in central Bucks and the Doylestown area. There are many far more appropriate industrial uses for this land. Perhaps you didn't understand the zoning distinctions, or maybe you were deceived by your New Jersey developer. Either way, we, your constituents, do not understand how your project has progressed to this point when zoning does not allow for it. The issue is also not a red versus blue one. People of both parties and independents in our towns are vehemently against your proposal. So far, we have a Facebook group consisting of over 1,600 members, have collected thousands of petition signatures, and have raised over $20,000. If you choose to stay in this fight, it will be long. In May, the town of Plumstead sent Buckingham a formal letter voicing their concerns. And just last week, our PA state senator and our PA House Representative also sent a joint letter to Buckingham voicing their opposition to your plan. Often as well, property owners are present when their plans are reviewed in township meetings. So far, you have not attended. Additionally, you have declined to meet with us. So, will you be at the Buckingham Township Supervisors meeting on Wednesday, July 24th at 7:30 p.m. at Buckingham Township Town Hall? If you're in person, we have many concerned constituents. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Beth Curcio.
Fascism, the doctrines, methods, or movements of the fascisti, a system of government characterized by dictatorship, belligerent nationalism, and racism, glorification of war. First instituted in Italy in 1922. Webster's New Word Dictionary, copyright 1962. Of course, if you Google it, right wing has been inserted in front of it. Americans are being fed daily doses of propaganda from the Marxist media and the hijacked government. Why do you think they call it television? They don't even report the news anymore, it's just Trump bashing. I suggest, Diane, you seek therapy for your DJT syndrome. It's very unbecoming. The rich white man that you condemn pretty much built beautiful New York City until it was destroyed by the Marxist Democrats. The rich white man provided thousands and thousands of jobs every day for everyday Americans. President Trump made us an energy independence. He was making our country rich again. Our economy was beginning to boom. Interest rates were low. Jobs were becoming plentiful. He was bringing back manufacturing, lowering taxes, deregulating businesses from the tyranny of the government bureaucrats that know nothing. Illegal criminals are now flowing into our country, committing horrible crimes. Newtown police just captured an illegal criminal wanted for a deadly shooting the other day. Getting the globalist Marxists out of our country and out of our lives. We had no wars and crime was at an all-time low. Unlike any of you commissioners, he knows how to run a country like a great business. Career politicians only invite corruption. Mr. Harvey, please stop labeling we the people as fascists. Our founding fathers fought and worked hard for our Constitution and freedom. We the people are supposed to have the power, but our government has become so big, we the people are having lawfare used against us. Example, Mark Houck's family being terrorized by the FBI in Bucks County. They knew Mark didn't even own a gun. Diane, you say the courts are totally fair, so why aren't you obeying them? Are you and Mr. Harvey above the law? Our courts are also corrupted and we all know it. It's okay when Hillary Clinton and the Democrats are election deniers. The very fact that you keep adding more technology to our elections just proves they are stolen. Writing own ballots in the precincts would save taxpayers millions of dollars. Showing ID everywhere else in this country is required, but it's racist if it's done at the most important place, the election booth. Mr. Harvey, you and Diane seem not to understand that our country is a constitutional republic. Democracy does not appear in our Constitution. How dare you, Diane, refer to the veterans for fighting for the communism that is now invading our country with the help of the Uniparty. You have nerve talking about spreading fear, forcing toxins into people, masking children, shutting down schools and businesses. I'll bet you never missed a paycheck. In the end, God wins, and if you continue to commit crimes against humanity, he will be your ultimate judge. The truth always comes out. It would have been a lot smarter to do what was right for the people. No pension, position.
Thank you. Bill Everett. Bill Everett. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Bill Everett. I am an elected committeeman in Middletown Township. My topic today is non-citizen voting. I will begin by reading you a letter that was sent to the lieutenant governors of all 50 states by the American First Legal Organization that cites the legislation currently on the books that you can use to vet suspicious registrant requests. I will also point out the legislation currently working its way through Congress, and I will close with some recommendations for you to consider. The letter. I write to advise you about two critical tools that Congress has provided to verify the citizenship status of individuals registered to vote in your state, 8 U.S.C. 1373 and 8 U.S.C. 1644. These tools, codified in federal law for decades, allow you to submit requests for information to the Department of Homeland Security about the individual's citizenship or immigration status for any lawful purpose. This includes an inquiry where you have reason to believe that a given individual who is registered to vote might not be a United States citizen. Unlike the systematic alien verification for entitlements program, which requires to use of some DHS identifier to perform a search like an alien registration number or other DHS receipt number, Section 1373 and 1644 require DHS to search for specific individuals using any available information such as a name or date of birth. Based on the information you receive in response, you can take further steps consistent with applicable law to ensure that only U.S. citizens remain on your voter rolls. Congress has imposed upon DHS a mandatory obligation to respond to lawful inquiries about an individual's citizenship or immigration status. Should DHS refuse or fail to provide the information, you can initiate legal action to obtain it. Given the unprecedented levels of illegal immigration since January 20th, 2021, the need for action could not be greater, and the stakes could not be higher. If you act now, there is likely still time to conduct legally sound voter list maintenance and remove ineligible foreign nationals from your state's voter rolls before the fall elections. So, I recommend you review the details of the legislation working their way through Congress and how your current vetting procedures can be updated to support the new law once it goes into effect. That legislation is House Bill H.R. 8281 and Senate Bill SB 4292. Both are called Safeguard American Voter Eligibility Act. I also recommend that you contact the
Thank you, Mr. Everett, thank you. Liz Yaus.
Hi, Liz Yaus, Northampton Township. Good morning. I am reading the words of Beth Roth, who could not be here this morning. Beth is the chair of the Bucks County Election Integrity Task Force. Good morning, Commissioners. I want to talk today about a few observations I made during the time the public was allowed to observe the various parts of the election process in the 2024 primary. Our journey began with attending the LNA testing. The task force covered every session of the LNA testing. Here's where our concerns begin. On the first day of testing, in a huge warehouse, 612 ClearCast scanners were set up. Workers came along and ran the prepared ballots through the machines. After the ballots were run through, the worker closed the election on the scanner and printed the tape that the results of the voting. Another worker came along and pulled the 2 USB drives from the machine and put them in a labeled pouch, that was then sealed and sent to IT. Here's the problem. There was nothing we observed that would tell us that the scanners were accurately tabulating the ballots. Observers were not allowed to see the ballots other than to note that the ballots were not marked by hand, but were printed by the printing company. Marking the ballots by machine and produced by the printer is highly discouraged. According to a document released by the PA Department of State, Directive on Logic and Accuracy Testing, March 7, 2024, Directive 1 of 2024, version 3, instructions say that manually marking the test ballots in the test desks is most effective in ensuring that the scanner is accurate, as that represents reality. Additionally, the same document emphasizes that counties should consider the many types of scenarios that can occur during the election and replicate them using the test decks to ensure voting system logic and accuracy. This could not be observed. Observers were not allowed to stand close enough to see if the workers were using ballots in all types and if the ballots were inserted into the scanner in all possible positions. In fact, it was suggested that observers stand in the next row behind the worker and watch through the cages. This position was useless. Observers were not able to see the print out of the scanner tape to know if it represented the cast's votes. One comment was made that the Clear Ballot Company tried to remotely update the software on the scanners, but that failed. If the scanners are not online, why did they even try to remote installation? This is just the beginning of what we observed, and what red flags went up. Knowing that the scanners are accurate is the foundation of transparency and an honest election. Thank you.
Chris Harm. Good morning.
Good morning. I think that's fine. I'm Chris Harm from Middletown. I'm a recently elected committeewoman. And I'm just going to make a suggestion. We have, as always, had elections on the polls on Election Day. We're now pushing for the mail-in ballots, and we're also pushing for some early in-person voting in several locations throughout the county. That's great. The only problem that I can see is these hours are from 8 to 4:30 on Monday through Friday, and I just suggest that possibly have 2 Saturdays where the in voting on the 3 locations be offered to people, because a lot of people work from 8 to 4:30. So thank you for your time. It's just an idea to think about.
Thank you very much. Are there any comments or questions from board members? Otherwise, we're going to move on to the agenda. Any questions? Any questions? Is there a motion to approve the minutes from the June 5th, 2024 meeting?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The consent agenda is items, I apologize, I need to. We're skipping which one?
17, I'm voting no.
But don't you want me to, aren't you going to say no? Well, just hang on a minute, let everybody leave.
I could say no on 17.
Okay, so for numbers 1 through 18H, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second? I'll second. And I'll call the vote. Aye.
Aye.
Aye on all but 17. I vote no on 17.
Okay. Thank you. And we'll move to the regular agenda where we have budget adjustments. We do have, there's Dave, okay. This is budget adjustment number 6.
Thank you, Commissioner. For your consideration, adjustment number 6 is the Emergency Health Services Department received an endowment. This would record the revenue and allow for the expenditures. It also refers to items 7F and 7I that were just approved on the consent agenda. It's the purchase of an emergency services vehicle and utilizing that money to pay for that vehicle. There are also additional equipment that they will be buying for the balance of the year, different items that they're going to need. So the adjustment allows for the recognition of the revenue and the expenses for that endowment.
Thank you. Is there any questions on the budget adjustment?
No.
Is there a motion to approve budget adjustment 6?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Is there a motion to approve the personnel actions today?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And we'll do board appointments. Commissioner Harvey?
Certainly, thank you. For the Bucks County Community College Board of Trustees, we had one trustee who resigned, Mr. Bill McGlynn. We thank him for his service. So that leaves a 2-year term. Mr. James Dancy has been a member of the trustees. He's expressed interest in finishing out his time on the trustees by filling in this 2-year seat. So there's a motion to appoint Mr. Dancy to finish the term of Mr. McGlynn, which would be ending on 6/30/2026. 5 new appointments: Tabitha Delangelo, Adrian King, John Murray, Ed Tukmajian, Vince Magyar Jr. All those terms would end June 30th, 2030. And I'll make a motion, and obviously we thank reached out to the members who were going off this board, thanked them for their service. But I'll make a motion for those 6 appointments at this point.
Second? All in favor?
Could I point of order?
Sure.
Could we break this up into 2 votes and just vote first on the new appointment finishing the term of William Martin, and a second vote on the 5 people who are all new appointments?
Yeah, happy to do that. I'll amend my motion to make a motion to appoint Mr. James Dancy to finish the 2-year term left by Mr. McLean. Motion?
Second that. Is all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Second motion would be to make the appointments a full 6-year term for Tabitha Delangelo, Adrian King, John Murray, Ed Tukmajian, Vince Magyar.
Second that. All in favor?
On the motion, Madam Chair? Okay. This is really tough vote for me, tough issue. And I was thinking this morning, because I spent all those years up in Harrisburg, and thinking about going back to 1995, which is almost 30 years ago, which was the first time that I got sworn in January of 1995. And at that time, when the election had ended in November, the Democrats were in the majority, 102 to 101. And in between the time of the election and swearing-in day in January of 1995, a Democrat by the name, long forgotten, of Tom Stitch switched over and was convinced to switch over from Democrat to Republican, which was a really big deal. And I had just gotten there because that switched the majority from 102, 101 to the Republicans. On swearing-in day, when we all got sworn in, and again, that was my first time, it just created such an uproar that we were, I forget, 3, 4, 5 hours debating what was going on. And at the end of the day, it was the Republicans were in the majority and elected a speaker, Matt Ryan from Delaware County, and a majority leader, John Purcell. And that was kind of like a really big deal because the majority switched from Democrat to Republican. And spending 25 years there, I watched. It was only a couple of years, there was, I think, 2 terms when the Democrats took back the majority from the Republicans. Then a few terms after that when the Republicans took back the majority from the Democrats. And then again, the Democrats took back the majority from the Republicans. And then when I left, the Republicans had taken back the majority from the Democrats. And there are kind of like 2 things that used to be saying when they switched from Democrat to Republican. And one of the things that we said was that the majority has their way and the minority has their say. And the other phrase that was always put out there was that be careful what you do when you're in the majority, because you're not going to be in the majority forever, and the minority is going to remember what you did when you were in the majority. There were very few things constant from the minority to the majority. I mean, people change, staff change. And I'm going to mention a name that nobody in this room is going to know except for maybe one, Gail Humphreys, and his name is Clancy Myers. And Clancy Myers is a name nobody knew, but he had one of the most important positions in Harrisburg. He was the parliamentarian. And the parliamentarian would be the person that stood next to the Speaker of the House and while I was up here, whether it was Democrat or Republican, they kept reappointing Clancy Myers, and he would inform the speakers when there was a discussion or a decision or a controversy on the rules of the House. And I became very good friends with Clancy. He was just a really good guy. And he stayed in that position, whether through a Republican administration or a Democrat administration, because he did a really good job. And he was fair and honest, and he cared about the institution of the Pennsylvania House of Representatives. Unfortunately, as this last time when there was a controversy, you know, the Democrats were in charge of the Republicans, I think he was ready to resign on his own pretty soon, but they got rid of him. And it was just painful for me to watch. It really was, because he was such a good guy. And I maybe talked too long about this, but I'm just looking at these reappointments, because the 5 people who are new appointments are taking the place of 5 people who have been on the Board of Trustees. And I believe all 5 of them would have liked to be reappointed, but they were not. And telling the story about Clancy Myers, about doing a good job and being reappointed by both Democrats and Republicans who were in the majority, comes to mind when I look at the people that are being let go. And believe me, I understand it from a political standpoint. There's some good people being let go. They served the community college very well. One person in particular who has been there for a term and probably half of another term is one of our state senators, Frank Farry. And Frank, in my estimation, was an invaluable member of the Board of Trustees. Not only had done a good job, he was an advocate, an elected advocate up in Harrisburg when he was in the House, and now while he's in the state Senate. And that was really important, because when the state does its budget, a big part of the community college budget is appropriated by the state. And he was always an advocate for Bucks County Community College when he was up there. As I see it, with him, we're losing that voice up in Harrisburg. And I can't help but think that that's not good for the community college. Anyway, I'm sorry to see Frank and the other 4 go, and that's why I'm going to be voting no on these 5 new appointees. And again, no reflection on their qualifications or what kind of job they will do. But I think just looking at Frank losing that voice up in Harrisburg will not be a good thing for the community college, or losing some of the other voices that we're leaving go who had done such a terrific job for so many years. So I'm going to be recorded as a no on the 5 new appointments. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thanks. I would just add, you know, our appreciation for the people who have served. One of the things that has happened at the community college is there have been a series of financial dilemmas that have come up in the past few years, very serious things that the board should have been dealing with. I'm not sure why they weren't dealing with it, but I think sometimes that happens when you have people who are on boards for 6, 7, 8 terms. They just don't look at things new. So I have to say, I'm kind of excited to be able to give the new president, who starts this month, more new people to start a new board to keep a closer eye on things. But I do understand how you feel, because I sat here for 12 years not allowed to appoint anybody to any board, and it's a really bad feeling. So I'm sorry about that, but I am happy to be able to offer the college these new people to help them dig out from where they are right now. Anything, Commissioner?
Nope.
Okay, so there's a motion and a second, and we'll do the vote. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Opposed.
Next appointment to the Bucks County Housing Authority, a 5-year term is Reina Mehta. Her term will end 6/30/2029. Make a motion to appoint her.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
To the Bucks County Solid Waste Advisory Committee, a 2-year term, Mr. Jeff Koptia. He will be finishing the term of Michael Doherty. His term will actually end 6/3/2025. Make a motion to appoint Mr. Koptia.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And now we have other civics. It's going to take me a minute to read these. Animal Lifeline, $1,500. Bucks for Kids, $3,000. Fire Professionals Aiding Children, $3,200. These are all for the field trip program. Centennial School District, $645. Centennial School District, $750. And also $873. Council Rock School District, $287 and $412.50. Neshaminy School District, $450.17, and Penridge School District, $534.32, $1,000 and $1,000. And I'll make a motion to approve those. Is there a second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Have our Chief Operating Officers report. Ms. McKevitt?
Thank you, Commissioner. I wanted to remind our small businesses in Bucks County that the Build Business in Bucks grant applications are due the end of July, July 31st, and that it is a $3,000 grant that works with partners in business for human resources, accounting, and marketing support for them. And our application is online. And if they would like to apply, they could do so by the end of this month. And then secondly, I want to thank our human services, our general services, and our emergency services folks for coordinating an effort this past day from an email yesterday to help a local senior center whose HVAC unit died. So I just want to thank all of you for working together to make them whole today. And then lastly, I want to wish Gail Humphrey a happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Hope you have a great day. And that concludes my report.
Thank you very much. We'll have the solicitor's report.
Thank you, Commissioner. I would like to echo the happy birthday wishes to our Chief Clerk and Deputy COO, Gail Humphrey. It's been an absolute honor to work alongside such a passionate and dedicated civil servant here at the county. I have just one item to report. The board held its standing executive session yesterday, July 9th, with staff and legal counsel present to discuss personnel matters, pending and prospective litigation, and to receive confidential legal advice. That concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you. And Commissioner comments. Commissioner DiGirolamo?
No comments today, Madam Chair.
Commissioner Harvey?
No comments, thank you.
Okay, is there a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned.